Open Labyrinth is a teaching software tool that was developed by the technology group at the College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine at Edinburgh University. It is really a branching algorithm that allows you to set up case scenarios that go through different iterations depending on how students answer questions in a particular order. One nice advantage to Open Labyrinth compared to some earlier teaching software aimed at medical students is the ability to use still images, videos, audio files in the case scenarios so that students can get what they would see in a real practice situation as far as lab results, ultrasound results, anything like that. We've used Open Labyrinth to kind of introduce the concept of syndromes that clinicians see in clinical practice. They tend to see, animals that have neuromuscular problems or diarrhea or respiratory disease, and the causes of those can be viruses, bacteria, metabolic disease, parasites, and the students, we find, learned those concepts in different courses, different semesters, and it's good to try to teach the syndrome as a whole to help bring all of that knowledge together. So the way we've been using Open Labyrinth is twofold. One is as homework. In other words, we cover a topic and really try in a lecture or discussion format to tie it all together. Then we give Open Labyrinth as homework to really see if the concepts took with the students, or if we need to go back and revisit some of the concepts to make sure that they're really understanding what we're trying to teach. So we've used it as homework. We've also used it as the main teaching component rather than lecture, and then as we go through each question, allow the students to answer and then provide them feedback in more of a lecture type of a format. I think some of the real advantages of a tool like Open Labyrinth is just the opportunity to have repetition. So the students can go back and try similar cases. They're not exactly the same, but similar, so that they can work on their clinical decision-making process and some of their client communication skills. The other thing that I think that it really does is it allows us to introduce two things that are sometimes difficult at a referral hospital. The very common cases that they may not see as a student, but we want them to have quite a bit of experience with them before they graduate, and then the very uncommon case that they're not as likely to see even at a referral hospital, but we want them to be exposed at least a little bit before they leave. Another real benefit to the Open Labyrinth cases is the fact that students can have a near realistic scenario that has very low negative consequences. In other words, they can practice in a situation where it can be pretty similar to what they'll see in private practice, but without any of the negative connotations, either to the animal health or feedback from the client or feedback from their boss, and they can kind of practice in a low-risk environment. We've developed a course on K-State Online that provides some additional information. If faculty want to be added to this course, just contact me and let me know, and I will get you added. The course includes a number of files, including some pertinent literature, some Open Labyrinth documentation, some PowerPoints about e-learning, as well as Open Labyrinth and the way we're using it at Kansas State University, and some PowerPoint templates that help you set up your first branching scenario.